What is going on, guys? It is your boy, Forever One Ghost here, coming back at you once again, my friends, with an anime review. It has been a long time since I've done this with my good friend Crumb. Say what's up, Crumb.
What's up, guys?
Now, we felt that this was, before we do our review, I want to give a big thank you to someone. And this has been around for a very long time, before even Crunchyroll, Viewster, Funimation, any of these companies were even available to us. I want to give a big thank you to Toonami because tomorrow they'll be celebrating 20 years of providing us anime. So I want to say thank you from myself and of course Crumb,
Thank you for the
because
Inuyasha.
thank you for all the great animes that you provided us for the last 20 years. So now that that's out of the way, we will be reviewing an anime that I don't think words alone could give it its due, but I will try my very best to give it what it deserves. So today, boys and girls, we will be reviewing Clannad. Now, I did this review a long time ago, but I have someone here who can give me some perspectives and some ideas and thoughts and opinions on this anime. So I will give you the brief summary of how this all even happened. So we're going to start off with Clannad, and then we're going to be reviewing Sword Art after that one because we want to make sure that the simultaneous stuff is there. And then after Sword Art, we will be doing after stories. So don't worry, we won't forget about after stories. So let's start off with season one, Clannad. So let's start off with the main character, Tomoya Okazaki. Now this is a young man that was troubled in his life, and his mother had passed away in a car crash. And his father ended up becoming a drunk and coming in and out of jobs. And he was sick of the life that he was living. He wanted to do more. So one day he was going to school. He was walking up the hill where his school was, where the cherry blossoms were springing, and he sees this girl standing right there on the top of the cherry hill, right in front of him. She says the words "tokatsu," which I think refers to hamburger. And she then goes on to say, "Do you like this school?" Because I have to say that I like the school very, very much. And then she goes on to talk about the school, and then she goes on to talk about how would you miss this school and other things like that. And then he goes and tells her, why don't you just go find more? There's always other fun and happy things you can do. So then that's when the moment they both went together and walked up on that hill to the everlasting journey. So for those that haven't seen Clannad, it's a very, very powerful story. It is the story that this anime provides to everyone that has not seen this show. A very, very different perspective of animes that you've seen before. Now, this could be from animes that you've seen from the past, future, the present, here, and now. So, my question first and foremost, Crumb,
Yes.
have you, my good sir, seen and heard of Clannad before? Have you even seen or heard of it beforehand, or no?
I have read a little bit of the manga, but I have not seen any of the episodes themselves.
Oh, I definitely recommend you watch it, my good friend.
I will
So,
as soon as I can.
definitely. So, before the shows even came out, as my good friend Chrome had mentioned, they come out in a visual novel game, where in this game you can have the options aside from dating in the show Nagisa, you could date the other characters that were there, like Kyo and Yo or Tomoyo. So the options were all there because obviously they wanted you to have the chance to see what would have been the different options and obviously the story in the game. But obviously in the show, he kind of in the first season he ended up meeting all of the friends that he became friends with. But in this story, this is kind of like the very happy and motivating anime that we wanted to see, which wasn't all very confusing to us because at the time when new characters are coming in from Tomoya's best friend or the twins or the new student they came in, which is Tomoyo, and a lot of other these very 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 super super important characters into the show, which gave this show so much life and such an attention that in history, I think this anime will go down as one of the greatest love stories in history. and there are great ones. Like Crumb, like low key Crumb. You know there are great ones out there.
There
You
are.
know there are so many. There's one called Air, one called Anohana, one called Cannon, July and April, Eureka 7.
You could say it's one of the greatest within its genre.
I think Clannad pretty much laid out a little bit of that foundation as well. I'm not saying it was the first. I'm probably sure that there was others before it, but this one really kicked you in the head. Like this one made you feel it. Like this one made you fall in love with these characters so much that you could not avoid that fact. Like these are the characters you're given. This is the story. Let's see what you can do. Kind of like in that sense, like you have to really feel that love, feel that like it's really hard to say because for me when I first saw it, I couldn't believe it. I kind of wanted more and more and more. And want to know what's the even more funny thing about this? I saw after stories before I saw Clannad. That was the craziest thing. I didn't even know back then that there was a first season. When I found out beforehand that I already knew there was a first season, it's just that I had forgotten that I've seen it. So that was the great thing about me going back to the first season, which was Clannad, obviously, and gone back to see it. Now, Crumb, aside from me, ranting a little bit about it in such a great way, um, what do you think so far from what you've read about Clannad that most people can really look forward to in season one?
Well, from what I've seen in the manga, it definitely brings the two main characters in right away. That's a very big given. They're introduced right away. Their personalities are already shown. So
Mm-hmm.
you know exactly who you're watching, who is being represented. Whether it be the
Yeah.
anime or the manga, they make it very clear.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
it definitely at times it brings its humorous side, but it definitely has the thought process side where you definitely have to think. You definitely have to have the chance to think about what they're saying and just sort of hit you at times, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there are times where there is humor. There are some fun times where there's always, that laughter, the comedic relief, from many perspectives. And then there are times where it's serious, where the characters have to really look into perspective and think, damn, this really went down and he needs to do something about this. Because in the beginning of the show, he made a promise to Nagisa that he would bring back the drama club, which is how the first season began. How he wanted to make her happy by giving her what she wanted. And even when they first met, a lot of people weren't really friends with her because at the time she was sick, and she was very sick at times where she couldn't even go to school, which kind of made him a little bit more bummed out. And the first time they met each other, they spoke at the end of school, obviously in the front of the entrance to leave of the school, and they were talking about how they were going to reopen the drama club. And from then on, Nagisa had invited him to go to her house, which wasn't far. It was under her business, which is her dad's business, and her mom's, which is the bakery, which the characters are Akio and Sanai, which is the mom and dad of Nagisa. So it was during that time where he was introduced to the family for the first time, and he saw a new light from them, like a very happy, very enthusiastic, funny, haha moments where in the beginning, if you guys saw the beginning, again, this is going to be a lot of spoilers. I don't want to ruin it if any of you guys haven't seen it. So in the beginning, you
Hashtag
see him going
spoilers.
inside the store. You say what?
Hashtag spoilers.
Exactly. So in the beginning, he goes inside the bakery. First thing he notices, there's no one there, obviously, but then he starts noticing one of the foods that were there, which was like a baked bread with like a rice cracker inside. He takes a bite out of the rice cracker because then Nagisa's mom, Sanai, comes out and says, "You should try some." And he offers it. She offers it to him for free, so she then says, "Try it, you'll like it." And he obviously gives her that. It doesn't. It's a strange taste to it, but it's nothing I've never tried before. So he really shuts her down immediately after he reviews it, how horrible it was. How would you do this? And then that's when she ran away from the from bakery, and that's when the father comes in and has his baseball bat next to him, and then you made her upset. and he would obviously put the baseball bat under his neck towards his chin, up under the chin, obviously, right next to the throat, and he would just like completely humiliate him for a second until he realizes that he's wearing the same uniform as his daughter, and then goes and kind of thinks about it and goes, "Wait a minute, are you friends with her?" And then like that scene ends, and then they end up going into like that next room kind of thing, and they start talking, and that's where it all starts for him, where he meets the parents and he starts seeing that new life. Like he would go like he's never had this before, because when his mom passed away and his father was so drunk most of the time, and he was barely doing anything, and he was barely even paying bills in the house that they were living in, he was just always not there at times. Because for him to see that experience with someone else in a family that was so lively and happy, he's never experienced that before. But being around everybody made him kind of like, say that maybe something could happen one day for me. So, Kram,
Yes.
aside from what I explained, obviously, do you think that this anime will go down to be one of the top three best animes ever told in history? Do you think it'll go down that way? Like, I know I said it before, but I kind of want to know where it would go, because there are others that are great. Like there are great ones. But do you think that this anime has that caliber? Because I know, obviously, I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm saying how would you, like, in your perspective, say would work for it?
I mean, I've seen a lot of animes, as I'm sure of everyone else here, and I definitely say it. From what I've seen out of the manga itself, it has a lot of potential, and they're definitely using it. So I'd have to read more into it, or even watch the anime itself to fully rate it. But from what I've seen, it's definitely going somewhere.
I
Like,
mean, it came out in 2009, as the show was released in 2009. And I mean, I've seen it hundreds of times. I can tell you right now, definitely a top three anime, very even so top one of a great anime that it is, because this anime tells the story of something that a lot of anime should really take into. Real life, how things would have happened, things were in certain areas, certain aspects, and it tells you the exact things that anything could happen, anything could go down. You never know what could happen. That knock of faith could change everything about what's going to happen in your life. And that's what's so crazy about Clannad, because it tells that story. Some people are like that. Not saying it's ever impossible to find someone like that. So it's like putting that perspective in to what, like, per se, you find this girl that you love and you don't even have a clue as to who she is, but you immediately know it's Faith, and you think to yourself, "Man, I'm not worth her time. I'm not worth anything." But if you don't give it a shot, how the hell would you know? Kind of like that. That kind of puts that perspective there too, because it kind of sometimes say, "Okay, how do you know if it doesn't work if you haven't tried?" Kind of that sense. I know it's kind of stupid, I guess, to say that, but that's how I predicted it, or more or less respond to that answer to what that story is being told. Now, I did see a lot of great things in that anime aside from the story being told, and a lot of great stuff about it, because like I mentioned before, there are great animes like Anohana Air, Eureka 7, Canon, Angel Beats. I forgot to bring up Angel Beats. I'm dumb for not bringing it up. But those are stories that tell the most beautiful story, that a lot of people really don't get. Because a lot of times when other people review anime and people get introduced to anime, they always get introduced to the very cutty, very rough, edgy stuff that's really like inappropriate at times.
the brand new
You know what I
stuff,
mean?
the popular stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Right, but there are some that are good. I'm not saying that there aren't any that are not that great, but I feel like if you look at it like this, I wish a lot of people would see this show. And I'm not trying to force people to watch anything. I'm only recommending them what I think would be best for them to see and watch. Because this show is so I don't know, it's hard to really put into words how I feel, because it's like a very wave of emotions. It was really what's there. Because this show takes you into an emotional roller coaster. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I can't even think of words to say for this anime. That's how crazy it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely understand, and the more you describe how it is, I definitely would love to experience more, love to see the anime itself. It definitely has me interested.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, watching it the first time, I'm not gonna lie, it made me cry like a baby. I couldn't help myself. I had to. It was just such an emotional, powerful story being told to me. And season one just knocked it out of the park because in that season, because a lot of the girls were fighting for him, they wanted to go out with him. I forget that there's one more girl, and I'm so sorry that I forget who she is, because there was a girl that he met in the show that was a very intelligent girl that met him as a child. Uh, this girl, I forget her name. If you guys know who she is, I am so sorry I forget her name. It's been a little bit.
Yell
Please leave
at
in the
us in
comments
the
below. But
comments.
yeah, let us know who she is. I know who I'm talking about. She was in the library. She was always in the library studying and reading up on her, economics and math and stuff like that, and her history and stuff. Uh, and she was one of the first girls that met him before any of them. And I was thinking in my head, he would have ended up with her than Nagisa. That's what I was thinking when he first met her. But a lot of things changed, and then how the story in the season for the first season kind of intertwined and changed in a lot of things. It kind of made me wonder, like, because in that season, I almost kind of felt bad because she ended up getting sick during the first season too, and he was always taking care of her, making sure she was okay and stuff. And then obviously from then on, and all this other girls that were trying to go out with him as well, or were trying to show their affections towards him. It was crazy, but it made the most sense in the world because at the end of the day, like he had the choices and he made the choice that he wanted to be with Nagisa, which is crazy because like there were so many options. Obviously, if you haven't seen season two, you will not understand what I'm saying. But if you have, then you get what I'm saying. So then it's all there. You know what I mean? But my question to you, Crumb, is what do you feel that if you did see this, obviously, if you like you said, you only read the novels and stuff, which you should read. I recommend you watch it and read it at the same time, or if you can, do one or the other.
Yeah.
Do you feel that if we recommend it to somebody, that they would feel the same way a lot of people would?
Yeah, it depends on the person's personality much more itself, how they would feel about it themselves. But if you really take the time to put yourself into the anime or the manga itself, I'm sure you would definitely, I wouldn't say life-changing experience, but you definitely have the feeling there.
No, it'll hit you right in the head, and it'll give you that very emotional roller coaster that you didn't expect to happen. I don't know. This show you don't know how to really pay its dues to it, man. Like that show gives it so much of a very enthusiastic. It's a very emotional roller coaster. I have no words for it, honestly. I really don't.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, what was that, buddy?
I understand what you mean, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this review. Hopefully, you guys don't mind it. And as always, guys, make sure to follow and subscribe to my homie Crumb for sharing this information with us, and of course, myself included, for everyone who goes to F1G. And as always, guys, stay awesome, stay blessed, and keep watching anime. Make sure to check out Clannad when you guys can, guys. Peace.
Goodbye.